can't believe it. I can't believe that we've made it to the end of this journey. Now it's time to talk about Star Wars one last time. Let's get into it. Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker, or known as Star Wars Episode 9 The Rise of Skywalker, is the third and final film in this new Star Wars sequel trilogy, as well as the finale to the 9-part Skywalker saga. This is directed by J.J. Abrams, stars Daisy Ridley, Mark Hamill, Adam Driver, Carrie Fisher, Joonas, Suotamo, John Boyega, Oscar Isaac, Anthony Daniels, Lupita Nyong'o, Richard E. Grant, Domnhall Gleeson, Naomi Ackie, Keri Russell, Kelly Marie Tran, Ian McDiarmid, and Billie D. Williams. And Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is not only the sequel to Force Awakens, but it's also a sequel to The Last Jedi. And in this movie, the remaining survivors of the Resistance is now fighting against the First Order and Kylo Ren in one last final battle, while also Rey is still training, but she also does her own little adventure. And while also Kylo Ren is still trying to choose whether he's on the dark side and light side and go off on his little mission. And with that, you also have the Emperor in here. I won't say how, because I'll get into how. And I'll get into why I won't say how. And you have a whole lot of stuff going on in this movie. Now, going into Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker, I was hyped for Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker. I was anticipating this. This was one of my most anticipated movies of 2019. And as far as Star Wars goes, I love the original Star Wars trilogy. I reviewed them back on my channel back in 2016. They're still up, and there will be a card here. I love A New Hope. Empire Strikes Back is my least favorite of the trilogy, but I really like it. Return of the Jedi is my favorite of the trilogy, and I love The Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, and Revenge of the Sith. Rogue One, I still like. Solo, I think is okay, but as far as this trilogy goes, I love this trilogy of Star Wars films. I love The Force Awakens. It's my favorite Star Wars movie, and it is my favorite film in this trilogy. And I'm one of the few people who defends The Last Jedi. I know a lot of people hate The Last Jedi and say Rian Johnson dropped the ball, that Rian Johnson ruined the franchise, yada 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 yada. And with this movie, I was excited, but I was also very nervous because there were some leaks going around and I didn't see any of the leaks, and also because as a fan of Star Wars, it is hard to enjoy the Star Wars movies, especially this now with the toxic fan base that has constantly moaned and groaned over this new trilogy. What they say, The Force Awakens, it was too much like Star Wars. The Last Jedi was nothing like Star Wars, and then and it's basically a no-win-win situation with the fandom, so I'm not going to go into it, but I'll just leave you with a clip of how I feel about this. And also, because I was a fan of J.J. Abrams, I wanted to see how he would conclude this Skywalker saga. But then the mixed reviews came in, and I was just like, there's no way this could be as bad as Attack of the Clones. But then I watched the movie yesterday, and rarely I am worried about my opinion before I share it, because I would just honestly get on camera and say how I feel. And with this movie, I'm going to do exactly that, and I am not going to give away any kind of spoilers because this is a movie you need to see. And so far, no matter what you think, if you like this movie, if you like the other two, you may end up going either way. You'll either like this one, you'll hate this one, or you'll be in the middle. And it's rarely that I'm also worried about how people are going to take an opinion of mine in the comments section, because I've been someone who is honest in every movie I review. I do get a couple of dislikes in a few of my videos. Back in 2017 when I reviewed Justice League, I said it was awesome. I still feel that way, but it definitely shows its problems the more I rewatch it. And I don't care how you're gonna take this opinion in the comments or when you watch this video, as long as you be respectful and explain why you like the movie, why you hate the movie, why you're in the middle. Because guess what? I actually really love Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker. I'm being honest, and I'm looking into the camera as I say this, because I gotta straight up be honest. Now, if you're one of those toxic fans who hated The Last Jedi and hated The Force Awakens and hated the two anthology films, this is not going to be up your alley. If you're one of those fanboys who like almost all of the movies or likes most of these Star Wars movies and hate a few, you will not like this movie, because there are, without going into spoilers, there are a lot of things in this movie that you are going to hate. And there were some things in this movie I didn't really care for. And I'm just going to go into my negatives before I go into my positives, because that's the best way for me to do this. I did the same thing with Justice League. I did the same thing with Avengers Endgame earlier this year. And my biggest issue with this movie is the pacing. This movie comes in at a 2 hours and 22-minute runtime. And despite the fact that it is a shorter paced movie, there is so much stuff going on in terms of the plot and the story that 2 hours and 22 minutes isn't enough time to really wrap all this stuff up and introduce all these new characters. And there are some questionable choices in terms of the script, especially some of the dialogue that kinda doesn't really work. It's like, yeah, that doesn't really work, that doesn't really work. And also, what they do with Rey in this movie, to all the people who say Captain Marvel is overpowered, you're gonna be eating your words, because I kind of agree with the fact that Rey in this movie is extremely overpowered. I'm not gonna be overly hateful. I'm not gonna go as far as bullying Daisy Ridley or J.J. Abrams or Kelly Marie Tran like all the others fans has done over these last 4 years, because that is not the good, respectable thing to do. But I do defend Rey in the first two movies, but here she's still pretty much a badass. But there are a lot of times where I feel like she's doing all this stuff with the Force, which I can't really say, that it just makes her feel overpowered, and therefore I do have to come out and agree with the fact that she is overpowered, but she's not a Mary Sue. She is not a Mary Sue, and I will forever hold on to that opinion. Also, there are some characters that I do wish we got to see more of. I would have loved to have seen Lando Calrissian early on in this trilogy, because I really enjoyed Billie D. Williams' performance. I thought he was great. It was great seeing Lando Calrissian come back, but I felt like had you have brought him back in the very first movie or in episode 8, I feel like it would have been much more respectful. And there are some things that doesn't feel 100% earned. But in terms of that, everything else in this movie is good. Everything else in this movie is good. J.J. Abrams' direction. Now, he has defended The Last Jedi, but he's also came out and said there were some things he is not very happy with The Last Jedi. And that's another one of my biggest issues here, is that you kind of do retcon and pretend that episode 8 didn't happen, when in reality, it did happen. And that divided the fans, and this is going to divide the fans even more. And as far as questionable decisions go. But I will say the direction by J.J. Abrams, the guy is a great director, and I feel bad for him because he has to take all the backlash that he's received since episode 7 came out. And this is a hard task to wrap up one of the most beloved sagas in the terms of film history. It is a challenge for him to do that. And I will say, he does it very well. Despite some choices of direction that doesn't really work, he does it very well, and he has an eye for cinematography. The cinematography in this movie is gorgeous, from every single frame, every single picture, every single scene, and the production design and the special effects. This is Disney and Lucasfilm, so this costs over almost $300 million. So the effects and cinematography is going to look damn good for a Star Wars movie. It has been looking good ever since this trilogy started. And I will say that the effects are really good. You have some CGI and you do have some good practical effects. In the action sequences, there is a ton of action here with the lightsaber battles, and there's most of the action you saw in the trailer. And I will also say that the performances in this movie are still really great. My favorite part of this movie is easily Adam Driver as Kylo Ren. He has been holding this trilogy together to the max. A lot of people have a problem with him as Kylo Ren, but he's still a very good villain. He does have his moments where it does feel like he is having tantrums, but in this movie he is a badass. Adam Driver's performance was great. You can see the confliction of him that he wants to be on. He doesn't know which side of the force he wants to be on. I thought that was really great. The send-off that they give for Carrie Fisher as Princess General Leia, seeing her through archival footage one last time. It was heartbreaking, but it was very well done. I loved how they gave her send-off in this movie. I thought she really did an absolute great job here for the archival footage that she got. And by the way, Carrie Fisher, rest in peace. It was good seeing the Emperor, but I would rather you had Snoke. But I'll say Ian McDiarmid, he was good. Billie D. Williams, again, he was great, but I wish he was in the movie more. And Anthony Daniels as C-3PO, and Mark Hamill as Luke Skywalker, and the new actor who's doing R2-D2, they're still really good. All of that is still really... The original trilogy cast is good. Daisy Ridley as Rey, I still very much enjoy her performance, but I still go by the criticism that most of the stuff they give for her character is not the best. And the way they got her written in this movie, using all these abilities with the Force, if you would explain more how she's able to do all this with the Force, then I would be on board for it. But Daisy Ridley, she's still really good. John Boyega was still great. Oscar Isaac, Domhnall Gleeson, Lupita Nyong'o, Joonas, Suotamo, Keri Russell, Richard Grant, he was awesome. All the acting was great, and Kelly Marie Tran, I would defend this actress and the character Rose because she was only doing her job. And to every last person who has gone on Instagram and social media and who has harassed this actress and harassed any kind of actress from any franchise, you ought to be ashamed of yourselves, because you can't hate the actress or actor because they're playing a character. You can't hate them because they're doing their job. Maybe that's the way they're written, but I digress. Yeah, I will say it does a good job at ending the Skywalker saga at his best of his abilities. And the editing is fine in most of this movie, but there are times where I just feel like there are some parts in this movie you could have taken out. There are some parts that could have been longer, and it's just, again, with the 2 hour and 22-minute runtime is not enough time to fully reveal all these twists and turns that you do have, because some of the twists and turns you do have and then I do and then some of the twists and turns I kind of question, and you just needed more time to do that. But I will say, despite my negatives, I still think Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker was a good ending to the Skywalker series, and it's a good way to end this new trilogy of Star Wars movies. If you're not a fan of these new Star Wars movies, you ain't gonna like this one. If you are someone who liked The Last Jedi, you are going to be disappointed with some of the retconning they do with that movie, in this movie. And there is one moment in here that you kind of ripped off Avengers Endgame a little bit, but I won't say what it is. But I will say that while this is no Avengers Endgame, I will say this is a lot better. I'll watch this movie over X-Men Dark Phoenix. Again, but I do overall love The Rise of Skywalker. It is the weakest of this trilogy, and I do prefer Return of the Jedi, and I do prefer Revenge of the Sith. But all in all, The Rise of Skywalker is an entertaining conclusion with some great performances, good direction, some twists and turns that works. There are some things that doesn't really work as far as the runtime, some of the twists and turns, some of the dialogue, and how they handle certain characters in this movie. But I will say that The Rise of Skywalker has a lot more good than bad. It's not better than Avengers Endgame. It's not better than Descendants 3. But it is better than Dark Phoenix. Because even though I didn't hate Dark Phoenix, this movie did one thing right that Dark Phoenix didn't. This movie didn't bore me to death, as like Dark Phoenix did in half of it. But The Rise of Skywalker is good. I am going to recommend you go see it. Don't listen to the reviews on Rotten Tomatoes and from most people on YouTube who don't like it. It's fine if they don't like it, but don't let reviewers on YouTube and don't let critics on Rotten Tomatoes have the opinion set out for you. You need to judge this movie for yourself. If you like the movie, you like it. If you hate it, you hate it. If you in the middle, you in the middle. Just at the end of the day, be respectful to other people's opinions. And all in all, I'm gonna give The Rise of Skywalker an Epictastic. Yep, I stand corrected. I stand corrected. And that concludes the Skywalker saga. Let me know in the comments down below, what did you think of Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Are you in the middle? Let's have a friendly, debatable conversation. What is your favorite Star Wars movie? What's your least favorite Star Wars movie? Be sure to stick around for my ranking of all 11 Star Wars movies from the worst to the best. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Be sure to follow all my social media links in the description box down below. So my Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, Stardust, all that. And I will see you guys in the next one. You guys keep it cool and join the Epictastic. And may the Force be with you.